Hello, I'm back for another book review. Get that out of my way. Just hanging out with my dog, which I don't think you can see her. My microphone. There she is in the chair back there. Isn't she so cute? She's looking out the window, waiting to hunt for birds because she's a bird dog. She already got one today. Unfortunately, it was so sad. A little baby bird fell inside. We have like a wrapped column, and the little baby blue jay fell inside all the way to the bottom. And at the bottom, there's this cuff that I can lift up. And so it's happened before with other birds, but usually they're waiting to escape because they can hear me in there. This one, maybe it was already dead. I almost pray it was because my dog definitely killed it if it wasn't. And yes, I cried. But that's her job, I guess, right? So now she's hiding. She's embarrassed. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the book, The Savage Noble Death of Babs Dionne by Ron Curry. So it is a crime fiction, takes place in Maine. I forget, I think it's Waterford is the town. I don't know if it's a real town or not, but it's crime fiction, mystery, family saga, rural noir. That's hard to say. The vibe is gritty, darkly funny, brutal but funny, small town crime kind of stuff. There's the hook. The book starts with the narrator talking about you. You came from blah, blah, blah and passed down la, la, la. And it's pretty cool how that starts. And then it kind of jumps into the other characters as it goes. And then towards the end, it starts talking about you again. I just thought it was a really cool way to start and kind of very smoothly transitions into each character. I listen to it because I can get in more when I listen because I can also be doing other things, which is nice. So that's been my jam lately, is listening to books. As much as I do like to sit and read, I just haven't really found the time, and I want to continue to consume books, so this is the best way for me to do it. The book I'm reading now, I don't know if I could keep my attention span on it, just because it's not a murder mystery as of yet anyway. I'm pretty far in. I think it would have had something happen already if it was, but I mean, it's adventurous enough. It's just not a murder mystery, so it doesn't fascinate me as much, but it's definitely, we'll talk about that one later. Anyway, so yeah, the book starts off like talking about you and then goes through the whole story and then circles back around again. Very neat way to go about it. So what's it about? It's about a fierce crime saga about a drug-running matriarch, grandma, whose empire begins to unravel when her daughter disappears. So she's got two daughters. Her name, they call her Babs. Without spoiling it, she had a traumatic event happen to her when she was younger. She had to leave for a while. There are a bunch of French Canadians who have migrated to Maine, and so I think the town that they live in is Water something. It's also called Little Canada. Again, I don't know if this is an actual thing or if this is the fictional part as well. So she's living in that town and has to leave for a little while, and then she comes back and grows up, and she has 3 kids, a son and 2 daughters. I think the son is the oldest. A little bit of a spoiler alert, but not too bad. He dies and he's in the military. And then the second daughter is also in the military. She gets a little PTSD there, comes back. They live in this small town. They're struggling with addiction, and the weird and hard part about it is that because the mother and / grandmother is running the drugs. So it's kind of sad to watch her kids or go through this book watching these kids struggle with addiction. So the grandmother has 3 friends, one of them who ended up living with her and getting adopted by her parents. So one of her really close friends is her adopted sister as well. And then there's 2 really close friends that work this system together in this town. So they started when they were really young, and now they're just grandparent age and still going strong. And then one night the youngest daughter disappears while the middle daughter is almost dying of a fentanyl overdose. She makes it. Something happened, and the youngest daughter, now these women are like 20s and 30s, later 20s and 30s, because the youngest daughter has a son, and she's married to this guy who's not really a nice guy. He's struggling as well. And so they all speak French and English, except for the grandson. He doesn't understand, or so you think. But anyway, all right, here's read that part. So what stood out to me, and this is sort of a spoiler, but not too bad. I wrote it. Although they're a close family, there's a lot of resentment. I don't know if it's because their mother wasn't as lovey-dovey with them, but the best friend / adopted sister actually is very caring to them. So they had that, but just growing up. And so the grandson kind of grows up with a little resentment, and they all seem to have a bunch of secrets that, don't tell her this, don't tell her that kind of thing. And then going into searching for the sister, apart from while they're searching for the sister, one of the places they search for is a drug lord guy, I guess, that works for the grandmother, but he's kind of a jerk. I think he's also using these women. Again, spoiler alert, go fast forward. He's using them, he's trading drugs to them in return for them having sex with men that call upon this drug lord, and they have this whole swappy thing happening. And then, so the youngest girl, they track her to him, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen her in a while. And then there's this other girl that is friends with her that does the same thing, kind of goes there, gets her fix, has to have sex with a man, and they get kind of trapped in this circle because of their addiction. But the guy, all they have to do is give themselves to a man, and then they can have their fix, which addiction, no problem. Because if you're, I guess, whatever they're getting high with, they're not really even realizing anything's happening anyway. But anyway, so enough about that. So they're tracking her over a period of a few days. She's missing for that long. They talk to the husband. He's like, I don't know. And they're like, BS, you do know where she is, or when did you see her last? And he couldn't even remember that because he was so under the influence that he just couldn't remember. There's a lot to this story. It was good. I liked it a lot. And then the author sprinkles in all this humor within this tragedy. It was really cool. I guess just when you're thinking that it's bringing you down, there's all this humor popped in there. It was done really well. So let's see. Real life reflection. It talks about small towns and the large rate of addiction, which I believe happens in a lot of smaller towns that are in poverty. And I was listening to a true crime podcast, and it was in the Carolinas, like on the shore kind of, and lots of poverty and addiction kind of through there, and people disappearing and dying and getting killed, and they couldn't tell if they were murdered or OD'd. And that was it kind of reminded me of that. Also, I'm from up north. I had some family in Maine. No, none of this ever happened to them. It's a very beautiful, beautiful state, but it just intrigued me that they picked that town. And now I'm going to go do research and see if there is a little Canada. I thought that was pretty cool because it is way up there. All right, let's see what else. Favorite line or moment is, again, when the narrator starts off talking about you, and then you don't know who you is. I mean, you get the gist of who you is, but then you forget about that because there's so much, like, find this person and so much happening at the same time. There's this interconnection with these older women, there's the family dynamic, the small town dynamic. I mean, there's just a lot going on. People that are close, rules are being bent, secrets are being kept. And then it comes back to you again at the end when she's talking about you did this and you don't know this yet, but blah, 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 and you resent this, but you won't. And then you find out who it is, and they talk a little bit about that. So I won't spoil that part because it's just too big of an aha moment that I won't get more into it than that. Turn this page. So it says, who this book is for. This book is for people who love crime families. If you're into small town secrets, and if you ever wanted a book that's literary fiction with a strong plot, this is good. I don't think I wrote down, I guess I didn't write down what books are similar. Yeah, I didn't write that down. I apologize. But final take, it's a little bit sad, but equally as funny and equally as intense. And it just brings you through this roller coaster of emotions, which is really cool. It's all the things. It checks all the boxes. A little bit of something. It even has a little bit of a kind of uncomfortable, awkward romance in there. It feels wrong at first, but then you kind of root for them a little bit. So there's that. There's meaningless sex just for like a small, nothing crazy. So it's not pages and pages. It's basically very short description, and then it's done and you move on. So a little bit of some sex in there. Oh, there's a good scene at the beginning that is not, it's intense. It's not good, but that's good. So I guess I was going to ask you, what if you did read it, what was your favorite part of the book and who was your favorite character? My favorite character was Lori. She was the oldest daughter but middle child, and I wrote she's very messed up, struggling with addiction, but just constantly trying to do the right thing and constantly trying to find her sister. She felt like a second mother to her sister. I don't think they were that far apart, but they were far enough apart where she felt responsible, and they're all trying to take care of this kid, and it's not going well at all. Like, they all think that they're doing better than the poor dad who has trouble, but he doesn't seem to be very safe in anyone's hands at all. So, but he's doing okay, and he ends up being fine, if that helps. Nothing bad happens to him, except for he's probably going to have to go see a therapist later, but joke's on everyone else, and you'll find out why. But that's it. So I really like this book. I don't think I hate many books or dislike many books. I think there's something to learn in each story, I guess. So yeah, I say go read it. Go read it. If you like something like, it's action packed, but it also has a little bit of something for everyone in it. I think so depending on what you like to read, it's in there. So yeah, I say go get it. I can put a link down too for Amazon, and obviously they have it on Audible because that's how I read it. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go pet my little doggy over there, and you guys have a great day.